Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. I'm doing a little bit knitting this morning. I'm waiting for the mist to fully clear. I opened my bedroom curtains this morning, must have been about 7:30, and I couldn't see past my garden gate. The mist was so thick, and that's usually what happens when you live a bit close to the sea. We get a sea fret when it's been really hot. But it's starting to clear now, and the sun's not out yet. There's still a lot of cloud, but it is going to get better as the morning goes on. So I am just doing a little bit knitting before I'm out in my garden, because I do like the sun to shine when I'm in my garden. I'm not a fair weather gardener. I'll go out in any weather, but I do like it in the summer. I do like the sun to be shining on me. And I did a lot of work in my garden yesterday, clearing some of the weeds and what used to be my strawberry patch, because I stopped growing any strawberries or growing anything actually because of the rabbits that were coming in my garden, because there was a lot of building going on. It used to be just beyond there's a railway line. I have a cycle path just outside my garden, and then there's a pathway that leads up to the railway lines, and we have a crossing for us to cross over the other side to go to Sheila, where it is, whereas I'm in Backwith, and go over the cross and go over into Sheila. That's where our post office and things like that are. And beyond that used to be a scrapyard. We used to go past the track around the scrapyard to get to Sheila, to the post office, and that, well, the scrapyard's gone. We've had a lot of houses built there now, and all these rabbits that used to be had their burrows, lost all their burrows and that, so they started coming over our side of the lines, and then they started coming into my garden. Well, there wasn't many gardens around where I live that they'd grown anything in their gardens. They probably just had lawns and flowers and things, but I had a lot of vegetables, and it encouraged them to come in, and they just ate everything inside. My strawberries, they ate, well, at first they were just eating all the leaves off, and then if there was any strawberries managed to grow, they were eating them. And the same with my carrots. Anything I was growing, they were eating, so I just gave up on it, and I haven't grown anything for about 3 or 4 years now, I think. But I've noticed this last year, well, I used to notice in the winter, especially if there was snow on the ground, because there was always a lot of prints of the rabbits in the snow, so you could tell they were around. But the little bit snow we have had, there was no rabbit prints, so they seem to have disappeared. I don't know where they've all gone to, but there used to be some kids used to go around with those dogs that they used to send down the rabbit holes, you know. I don't know whether they've caught them all or what, but I'm starting to get my garden. I'm digging over where I used to put my strawberries. I'm going to start growing things again in the garden. But it's a lot of work, because I'm not used to it. I haven't been doing things like that in my garden for about 2 or 3 years. And just the exercise, I'm sitting knitting probably all day and all night. Any time I've been sitting knitting for probably the last 18 months. And my body isn't used to doing gardening work, bending up and down and all that. So I have one of those loungers and my table in the corner, over one corner of my garden. And I was doing a little bit digging for about half an hour, washing my hands, come back out again with my knitting on my lounger and the table with a drink. And that's why I was working at half an hour doing a little bit knitting, and then another half an hour doing. That's the only way I could manage because there's so many weeds, and there are 2 patches down the bottom of my garden beside my hedge, beside my long hedge. and there's just loads of weeds, or just those weeds where the tap roots go right down in the soil. And that was the area that I had a young couple come in. I thought they were digging my garden over, but all they did was break the weeds off on the surface really and cover a bit of soil over the top. So what I paid them to do, they never really did. It just made it look tidy, and it only lasted a few days. Those weeds were through within a few days again. But there was one part of the garden that before they came in, I had dug over myself at least a month before they came in. I had been digging some of it over and getting right down to the tap roots to get the, those long weeds out. And there's hardly any weeds growing at all in that area in that time. And all the weeds that this girl and this fellow were supposed to have done my garden was a waste of time. They're just all back again. And that saying is right. If you want anything done right, do it yourself. And that's what I'm doing. I would not pay anybody else again to come and do things in my garden after I think I got done. That's the only way I can explain it. But I have gotten quite a bit done, because having a half an hour work and half an hour rest, half an hour work and half an hour rest, I get quite a bit done. And that half an hour rest eases my back up a bit, because bending up and down is the worst thing. That seems to be the worst thing with not exercising really. But I noticed I've been doing it for a few days now, and yesterday it was a little bit easier. I could work a bit longer, so I think my body's starting to get used to the work again. I'm going to have to do some sort of exercises to stop it's because I'm sitting here knitting all the time, and I'm not doing any kind of exercise and that. And anyway, I'm getting a good way up the second sleeve. But it's just with the gardening as well, it's been making my hands ache and that, and I haven't been doing as much knitting even on the night time. I just can't seem to knit as fast when my hands are aching and that. And I have been doing a little bit. This is something else I'm doing for these are ones I'm doing to sell. I'm doing another one. I've already done two that were order for Rhiannon. And I'm doing a tutorial for those same cardigans, but I'm doing it from a 16 to a 24. And I've done 22 and 24 for Rhiannon, and so this is a 20 inch that I'm doing. These will be for the sale when I get them done, but I'm going to wait till I get a few done before I put them up on the shop. So I'm nearly finished this one, and I have to knit these because it's going to be for the PDF. I have to knit them to make sure I get the sizes and all the shaping and everything right. And I'm on to the last sleeve on that one. So I spend a couple of hours during the day on doing these ones. So I'm nearly finished this one. And then after this one, I'll only have the 16 and the 18 inch to do, because I have to do them first. And then I've jotted it all down on the my book, what I have here, I think. Yes, this one. I don't know if you can see the sizes. There. There's my sizes there from 16, 18, 20, 22 and 24. And as I'm knitting each one, I'm putting down everything I'm doing in the sizes. I've left the spaces for all the different sizes there. There's somewhere there you can see all like the spaces where I'm putting the different things down for the different sizes. So I'm busy doing all the things for the 20 inch at the moment, but some things I know that I don't have to work out. I know I've got those written down automatically, so when I get that one done, I'll probably finish the whole 3 of them before I put them up on my shop, but I'll probably put them up on the Etsy shop when I get them done. But I want them sorted first to put a few up together instead of just one at a time, because sometimes I do get an order where somebody buys 2 things. If I put them up one at a time, I'm going to send out two separate parcels to one place. So I'm going to put as many as I can up together. But in the meantime, I'm still doing this one the rest of the time. It'll not be much longer for this one now. And when I was at my bingo on Thursday, me and my friend, we never did win anything. Our luck seems to have lost us at the moment for that. You have to count 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The next one. And my friend brought her knitting because she had made some. She said she got herself in a knot. That's what she called it. She messaged me and said she got into a knot with her knitting. Would I put it right for her? And I thought the last time she brought it to the bingo with me and I had to bring it home. So I had to finish the whole lot for her. And I am not doing that this time. She's going to learn to put her own mistakes right. So she brought it with her and I said, well, we get there for 7 o'clock and the bingo doesn't start till 8:15. So we'll have at least an hour. I says, I can sort out what she'd done wrong. And I did sort out what she had done wrong. I couldn't believe it. She had picked the stitches up for the neckband. And you know, you start with one piece. When you're picking the neckband up, you start with this part, see where the bands go down. You start with that bit. You pick that up, the stitches up there, up to the point of the front, and then you pick up the sleeve. And then you pick up the back stitches, the next sleeve, and then when you come to the other front, you start at the point and work it down to the front. And it took me ages looking at it. I couldn't look. I says, it looks all twisted, Anne. I says, I don't know what you've done here. And it took me a little while to realise, instead of starting with the point there and working down, she had started with this part. So this part down here was up next to the raglan for the sleeve. And then the raglan, she had the raglan down this side. It did take me a little while to work it out because I'm looking at it. It looks like you've got one side the wrong way round, and you know, it was like the wrong side that you would stitch. And then I finally realised what you had done. I says, honestly, look at, I says, you start on this, when you start on picking the stitches up, you start from the band bit and go up to the point. But she had done exactly the same when she come to the other part. She had started from the band and worked to the point down here instead of the opposite way around. So I picked all the stitches off the, she had done a couple of rows before she had realised that she had done something wrong. So I unpicked the stitches and I took that part off that she had done wrong and turned it round and put it on the right way. And then I knit the first row across for her. So there you go. It took me about 3/4 of an hour to sort it out and to put all the stitches back and knit that row for her. And we were nearly in time for the bingo then anyway. So it says, there you go. All you've got to do now is do the rib for the neckband and put your bands on the front, stitch it all up and all that. So I put it back in the bag and there you are, take it home with you. She did. She sent me a picture this morning. She's actually finished it, and she sent me a picture on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger, and showed me the finished cardigan. So looks okay, but it's not as good as the one I did. I'm not bragging, but not as good as mine. But that was okay anyway. She was having a laugh afterwards. You know, she's saying, you know, Sheila, I don't know what to do without you. She says, I could never have worked that out what I had done wrong. Well, it's easy enough when you take a good look at it. But anyway, the sun is starting to come out. The clouds are clearing. I am about to go out in my garden again and do some more hard work in my garden. So that's a little bit for now. So thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you all again another time. So bye for now.